Yay. This is another episode of Conversations with Nations, the podcast I created to have honest conversations about the things we all go through, but don't often share. And this is a Royal Nation episode. Pew, pew, pew.
We need sound effects.
I know. I'm gonna figure that shit out next season, I promise. So that means you get myself, Brittany, and you get the beautiful Sita baby over there. Okay, I saw a little leg pop up in the screen. Okay.
It's giving ghetto. I have shorts on.
Leg, okay.
The leg.
You know what I'm saying? The leg out here.
The leg.
As we always do, we start with gratitude. So, beautiful. What you thankful for out here?
I am thankful for the ability to be unapologetically myself.
Fair.
That is what I am thankful for. And
Fair.
having no boundaries nor fear of how what comes out my mouth may or may not affect other people, but as long as I'm okay,
living in your truth.
I am thankful. God is good.
We hella funny, bro.
No, we are not.
Y'all, she about to fight me today. I've been fucking up.
It's 5 o'clock.
It might be a short episode. That's okay. Sweet. Yeah. So for me personally, I'll ask myself because I've been fucking up. No. Yeah. God and the ancestors. She's like, I've heard this
3 times.
Lord. Yeah. God and the ancestors. Just like, just like going through a lot and just having to like ask for, I guess, like kind of just, I don't know what I need, but I need something. So yeah, just having them always answer. On time, God. Yes, he is.
And how they do it in church? Ain't that it? Like, see, clearly. Look, clearly I'm doing it. I'm wrong.
Tambourine, you know what I'm saying? No. Yeah, just like really delivering divine like conversations, interactions, like stuff I listen to, just being able to like speak to, I guess, me and my shit. And then yeah, so I was just like, damn, y'all really showed up. So shout out to my niggas, you know what I'm saying? God and the ancestors. I love them. They keep me right. And we got some businesses shout outs. Let's get through this quickly. Today I'm wearing my LBR sweatshirt, so loyalty before royalty. That way, that's what that stands for. That is owned by Lex, you know what I'm saying? Lex BUB, as Casita loves to say.
I love Lex BUB. Like, bro, what? You don't understand. I'm telling you, I feel like, how when you listen to commercials on the radio and you sing along, when the intro of Meet the Branch come on, I'll be like, it's Monty Draper, or I'm Monty Draper, or it's Monty Draper, or whatever. And then he's like, I'm LG, hella dry. And then it's like BUB, like.
Yes, so this is his company along with his partner. I don't know much about his partner, but yeah, shout out to them. And ladies, if you're looking and you're like, that looks like a very masculine sweatshirt, I purposely bought a men's sweatshirt because I had a fit planned out where it was like sweatshirt, biker shorts, some fly shoes. So I was trying to be like
what type,
masculine
what
up top, a little naked on the bottom.
What kind of shoes? What's the fly shoes?
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me because you know better.
You got it.
I actually wanted these green and white Stan Smith Adidas that I specifically wanted. Yeah, that was what. But yes, I would have also taken some ones.
That's all you know.
I know what 11s look like. I know what 1s and 11s, right?
Pull up the
All
the
right, let me
website.
just go to. I don't mean no. I decided recently in the last whatever that I'm going to try to like get sneakers, and so it's been a hilarious conversation between the two of us because I don't know nothing about sneakers, and she knows a lot. But I didn't want to pull this up. So their website, and they have new merch that they just dropped, and they're selling it separately too. You can get the bottoms or the tops. So this is their new merch that they just dropped, LBR. Their website, thank you. I was like, words. Jizzle McFly, which I think is the name of his partner, or his like rap name or something. I don't know. GIZZLEMCFLY.com. Going over there and cop it, you know what I'm saying? And then the other shout out I really wanted to do really quickly was Grand Nationxl. They are having a concert. I'm really excited about that. They're headlining their first concert, and it'll be at New Parish on August 6th. If you would like to find it, you can go to their IG, Grand Nationxl. The only difference is that A, where you would normally put an A, is an X. Click the link in their bio, and it'll take you to, get out of there, their website. You can go down here to Kevin Allen Presents Grand Nationxl and Friends at New Parish. Early bird tickets are done. So tickets now are about $35. Yes, they're $35. So you can go in there, get you one, come on out, have fun. I'm gonna be there. It's gonna be hella fun. Because I want to see, I want to see them live. I love live music, and I'm excited to like go out into the summer and experience live music. And I'm really, really excited to see Jay Hancock perform. And yeah, so if anyone can get this information to her, I would love to hear When We Fall and the song that she did on Good Company. That would be great. I'll take anything, but like those two would be great. So yeah, y'all should come to that. And then go ahead, girl.
Shout out to my good sis, Dominique. Her website is Styled W Class, or Style with Class. She is by far the hottest stylist in the Bay. Y'all see her, you feel me, with the shoes, with the fit. It's the details in the jacket for me, but she's absolutely a great creative. She's amazing. She does everything from engagement shoots, personal shoots, family shoots. She's helped people launch businesses. She's just dynamic and amazing all the way around. So y'all make sure y'all check her out. She's has a tight schedule. So if y'all trying to get in there, make sure you get in there. But there goes her website. Make sure y'all hit that book here. And her Instagram handle is the same exact thing. So make sure you tap on that as well, just to see some of her content. But shout out to my sis. She's been having a dynamic year.
Yes. I love to see it. The one she did with the little girl for, I think it was her like 13th or something birthday party. I was like, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That was fire. She's an overall fire person. She's great.
Yes. And the one, there was a lady, I think it was her birthday. It was shot by, I think Minilek shot it, and they were in the all black in the field. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. And I was like, she was styled so perfectly. So I was like, Dom be killing it.
When I get my funds up, I'll book with her. You know, so until then, I'm gonna work for her. But
you know what I'm saying. But when I get my bag up, no, I'm just playing.
When I get that coin,
you know. All right.
Y'all, let's talk about transparency, okay, y'all. I'm tired. I'm tired because I'm tired, because it's after work. I'm tired because Nation irks my nerves. And it took this girl 3 times, okay?
You know, I am slightly neurotic. You know that I am. So we're just gonna leave that where it is.
Which is right. But
it's anyway, your episode, so do you.
Girl, bye at this point.
Go ahead.
So we've been having a good conversation lately about
3 episodes worth.
Three episodes again.
Funny.
About moving on and what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to re-enter the dating pool after not even being in a, like, I think let's talk about it. Like, not specifically, of course, but you know, like, I feel like a lot of women have been in that space where it's like, not in a relationship, but I'm definitely being respectful, right? Or being mindful about how I navigate the world because I'm attached to somebody.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's more challenging for some folks than actually being in a full-fledged thing, because at least there's like clear understanding of how you need to move, how you don't need to move, right? But then when you exit what the kids call a situationship,
entanglement.
An entanglement. Shout out to Will and Jada, bro. If that's me when I grow up.
Right?
Listen.
Like I'm gonna have a nigga in the house, but we all know what's up.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that part. I was talking about how they make sure that they put their business first.
Oh, I was gonna say, because they both for surely got whatever, all the spectrum of all the things they want. I don't believe that they're not like a monogamous relationship by any stretch of the imagination.
Doubt it. But I also appreciate how they look. Now we all want about them. I also appreciate how they put their like professionalism. I'm not trying to say it like even at the forefront also, because it's like, let's also be mindful about who we are separately. And yes, that and how that connects to us personally. But anyways, but how you leave an entanglement and then you try to date again. Like that.
Yeah.
So that's a little recent for some of us.
I think, like I said before, I think I think the most recent thing is really like where I guess one would be acceptance, right? Like being in a space of acceptance is part of like a process. And I don't think people start there. I think that whole like toxic space that you're in where like the back and forth is happening happens prior to acceptance. And then I think your brain can get to something before your emotions do. And I think when those two link up, that's where you actually hit a space of acceptance of like, I've logically gotten somewhere and can like will my life a little bit in that direction. But then when your feelings finally get there, it's like, whoo, like reality hits you a little bit and you're like, oh shit. And so, you know, I was out when I was actually back at home. I was at home for a week and went out and ended up at, because that was not the plan, at a party. Because the plan was just to go sit and have drinks, and we kept moving. And then at some point that movement landed us at a place that we thought was going to also be sit down and have drinks, but it was a little turn up. So I was like, oh shit. And really getting to a space, I think that was the first time I was conscious of it, which was a weird thing to have happen real time as you in the club. But really be like, oh shit, like
the club will do it to you though.
The club will do it.
It's the mind you, I don't drink, so look, it's the liquor. And then
it's me, so you know it's some trees in there.
Right. So you look, it's the liquor and the weed, lights dim, but it's a little splashing of the lights when things hit. You know, it's the bass of the music. You know what Usher say? Make love in the club. Was that Usher?
That was Usher. That was
okay. Good.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the moment where I stopped and was like, oh shit, like I'm really starting over. And I think, like I said, you have that first thought of like, oh, fuck, okay. And then my first question that pops in is like, okay, are you ready to do that? And then I'm like, no. I need to assess my wounds and the damage, bro. Like, before I can even get out, like do that shit again. And so then it starts the question of like, okay, well, like, what are you out here for? You know, like, are you just here to have a good time with your friends? Are you open to, you know, like some casual shit, or like, you know, are you looking to like repair, not repair, but like, because that sounds like fix something, but I mean like repair up, you know, like whatever. You have to kind of like identify what that spectrum is of what you're looking for again and where you're at. And then even with that, even with realizing like, no, like I'm good for right now. There was still that moment where I was like, oh shit, like this version of me hasn't been out on the dating scene. Like I've evolved. Like it's been like 3 to 4 years. And now at this point to be like, okay, like I'm completely different. Like I have a new completely different career. I am headed still towards trying to have a completely different career and completely in a new space. Like there's so much about me that's really changed, I think, in the last, 3 to 4 to 5 years. And I am like, my level of consciousness has completely changed. Like my understanding of self has completely changed. And so really having to go like, oh shit, like what is it that I want? Like, and if I choose to like partner again, like what is it that I want in a partner? And you're having to like, I was like literally like running through that in real time, and not in the sense of like running through a list of what I want, but I was very aware of it as people were interacting with me, and like men are shooting their shot or like whatever. It was like I was very like hyper like aware to like, oh, I don't like that now. Like that is something that I may have entertained before, but like I don't like that now. So like that's gonna be a no. And like really landing on yeah, like what interests you now? What are
This was
some
all
things?
happening at the club.
Yes, that's why it was a crazy ass experience. Like I literally was like, whoa, like this is a lot. Like I probably shouldn't have smoked. I probably should have just had my drinks and called it a day. But I was like, the weed hit, and I was like, oh, I'm about to have an existential experience up in here. And so I like, one of the things that I was telling you before, I was like, I noticed was if you lack individuality, if you lack personality, if you lack an ability to like really be secure in yourself, and I can feel that, like that you don't have those things, that's one thing now that I'm very clear, like I'm not interested in. And it's not that before I was interested in it, it was before I wasn't able to read that as well. And like now I can read that like immediately of like, oh, like you're not even secure in you. So you're very busy being someone else or trying to be like everybody else. That doesn't even interest me. Like that doesn't pique any type of interest to even entertain a conversation with you. Because how boring will that be? So that was one thing I was like, oh, okay, like if you don't have like a personality, like, which is crazy to me because I always feel like men talk about how they deal with a lot of women who don't have a personality, but I don't think women often talk about like interacting or dealing with men who you feel like don't have a personality. Like you're just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like this is boring, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so interesting to me because there was a lot of guys there who I felt were very like they were very alpha and very like, like tall, dark, handsome, or tall, medium, handsome, whatever their thing was, and like fit and like, had an air about them or whatever. And I just
Oh, it
remember
sounded fun.
and I just remember feeling like, yeah, no, I'm good. And it was because I was like, all y'all give off the exact same energy. And that's so boring. And I just remember it was so funny. Like the guy I had chosen to dance with, like I was like, there was only one person that I chose to dance with. I remember the dude's kind of looking like, that's the nigga she chose. Like, what the fuck? And it was like that dancing ass nigga. Like, and it really was. It was like his energy was right. Like it was very like, I'm
He
good.
was like backing it up.
Yeah, backed it up a tiny bit. You know what I'm saying? Not too much though. Can't
So
give it all away.
you outside setting boundaries, backing it up.
Yeah, setting boundaries, telling
And
people
outside.
no, telling
And
people to stop putting their
outside.
fucking hands on me because I said that shit too, and to get up out my space. I was proud of me about that, and backing it
When
up a
you
little
when
bit.
you get gangster.
After you, no, I just learn from the best. No, I mean, shit, life be teaching you shit, But yeah, I mean, it was so funny because I was like, he was the only one that I felt like was different than everybody else, and also was like very secure in his differentness, and also I could tell he was like paying attention to social cues and and body language and things of that nature. So there was like, I don't want to say like he felt safe, because I think for a lot of niggas, they go like, oh, like, you know, when you say like they felt safe, you almost are like taking a shot at their masculinity. And that's not what it was. It more so felt like I can walk away from this situation at any moment and it's not going to be a problem. Like, this person is not hella thirsty. Like, if I leave, they'll be fine. Like, he didn't even, like, I didn't even give him my number. He didn't even ask for my number the other night. Like, and so like, it was like that kind of energy of like, no, like this person's going to be fine one way or the other. Like, I know a lot of women go out specifically to feel that like hunter energy from men, but that is like a huge turnoff for me. Like, I don't want to feel hunted. Like, I want to be like, hey, I'm a human. Like, let's have a conversation. And I can tell you're interested, obviously, but like, or you're attracted, but I'm a person. So like, what's that, you know, versus like men that are very like, that is woman. She has ass and titties. She look good. I must get. Like, and it's like,
That's how they sound to you?
That's how you guys sound, like fucking cavemen. Like, it's just, and it feels almost like a little barbaric in a way. But I also say, like, there are some women who thrive off that shit. They love being like the object of the hunt, the prime gazelle. You know what I'm saying? That's not my jam personally. But what are your things? Like, what are your specific things that either are like you look for, or, and not even to be like on nothing serious, but like, even if you're going to entertain a conversation or give them somebody your phone number, like, what are the things that you do look for, or what are some things that are like, yeah, if you do this, like, nah, like it's gonna be a no for me, no matter how you look.
You think when girls go to the club and dance on the dude while she got a boyfriend? Or let me redo that. You think if a dude dances with a girl at the club, right? Mm-hmm. And got a girl, like, is that technically cheating on your girl?
Ooh.
Hold on. I'm here.
Do your thing. No, I'm literally thinking.
Answer.
I know I'm genuinely a little stumped on that, because I think I think I don't like it. I wouldn't personally like it, but I wouldn't like it specifically in the sense of like, if you go out and you're at the club or whatever, and we're like in a committed relationship with each other, and you're seeking out women to like dance all up on you, like, that feels different and not okay to me. But like, I also wouldn't like lose my shit if like you were standing there and some girl came up and would like danced on you and you were kind of like, nah, like, you know, I'm good, like whatever. I think that's a difference. But if it's just like, hey, I was out here and I'm excited because I want all the big booty bitches to be throwing it back on me and I'm searching that out, like that's different to me.
So you tell me, if your nigga goes to the club and a bitch is twerking on him, and now he all feeling some type of way and come home and fuck you off that energy?
Wait, that's what? Not. I feel like that's not what I said.
No, I'm just saying, but you tell me that's not.
I mean, I don't love that. But I also, here's the weird part about me, is that I also don't believe that like flirting has to be that terrible. What the fuck is happening right now? Lord. I don't necessarily believe that, like, I don't know. Like, I think that my thing is I want to be fair, right? So like, if I go out somewhere and.
So you would dance with a dude while you had a nigga at home?
I don't know.
Because the reason why I'm asking is because I feel like when women go to the club, you could tell, even if she's not with her dude, right? Like, she ain't been dancing with nobody all night. She's dancing with her girls. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's very clear, like, oh, she got somebody at home. Kind of like aura about her, right?
Yeah.
Whereas then with a dude, it's like they all out there and they all dancing and they all like dancing with everybody. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna cheat on their girlfriend, right? But I've never been outside where I've experienced a guy when a girl tried to back it up and she's like, no, I got a girlfriend at home. Where I've definitely experienced a girl be like, nah, I got a dude, you know?
Oh yeah, we use that. We be lying.
I got a girgirlfriend at this point.
Seriously, I got all the friends. I got boyfriend and girlfriend at home.
Now why am I listen? I'm gonna try at this point.
Right.
No, it's because
I think my deciding factor is whether or not they were searching it out. Like that's my thing. So it's like if I'm at somewhere and I'm dancing and somebody comes up behind me and then like, finish out the song and go about my business, I think that's different. Or let me say that, like if a dude is out and he's just, in his little section doing whatever because we grown out here and bitches need a section because our feet be hurting. Like I'm not, I used to think that was bougie, but like I'm not going nowhere where I can't sit down. And some girls in there, she comes and like dances on him and he's just like, all right, like, whatever. And the song ends and he's like, all right, I'm good. Like, I don't know. Like to me, that's not a huge deal. Or I also think like, I don't know, like I think people need to be able to also have like, that's difficult to say because it requires so much trust, but I think people need to be able to have a little bit of flirtation too. Like even with outside, like I think there's a lot of women who when they'll have a committed relationship that they're in and they'll be completely happy and good and still go out to the club with their friends and still enjoy like the attention that men give them.
No, I think that flirting is normal.
Yeah,
I really do. I think that flirting that doesn't get pushed to boundaries is normal, especially when, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but like I find it so amusing when I'm outside and somebody like looks at my man some type of way, maybe even like shoots her shot because I'm not present, or like whatever. And there's no part of me that's going to be like, bitch. It's more like he fine. Like I would engage in the flirt damn near. Like I would be that
trying to get your triad off.
What? Not even.
Let her be fine.
Listen, you want our number? No, I'm playing. But I will be the one that's like, oh, he cute, huh, girl? Like, like doing all the, you know what I mean? Like, cause I'm childish in that way. But not the reason why I asked, but I was having this conversation with like one of my dude partners, and he was like one of the homies, and he was like, yeah, granted, he's childish and out of pocket for the statement, but he was like, he's like, yeah, he's like, I went to the club. He's like, it was this badass bitch dancing on me. Like, he's like, and I went home and like, fuck the shit out of my bitch. And I'm like, is that cheating?
I don't think it's cheating. I think a lot of people do that, to be honest with you.
And then it reminded me of that movie. I forgot what movie it was. Dang, but then I was like, I remember watching this movie where like the girl, like the dude, like
I feel like I remember this.
Yes, I think we might have watched it together, remember? And he like was out with another girl and got the call, and his wife or whatever, his partner was like, oh, I surprised you, I'm at your house. And he came in the house and like banged the life out of her. And she was just like, oh my God, life is so great. And he's like, no, but I'm thinking of, yes, I forgot what movie it was.
Okay.
And then he's like, oh, but I'm thinking about somebody else as it's happening. So is it, again?
Ooh, because that's a whole different thing. It's like, it's different to like go get an ego stroke and go get excited sexually and then come back and smash because you want to go smash your partner, or to come back and smash your partner and be thinking about another girl.
Another person.
That's
but
different.
Also I don't know. I be hearing old people talk about, I be thinking about like Idris Elba while my man getting it on. So is that cheating? Like, at what point is it too much?
I mean, I think that's for a couple to decide at what point it's too much. Like, cause I'm also a firm believer of like, I've heard the wildest of shit when it comes to couples. I mean, like married couples. And
yeah, because you got to keep it exciting, I heard.
Yes, you do. And my thing is like, I have it like in my mind, I know specifically like a certain amount of married couples that I personally feel genuinely have a successful marriage and relationship, and what they like and what they do is so different for each one. Like some are a certain way and that might be seen wild or whatever. There are some that are a certain way that I'm like a little medium. There's some that I'm like, damn, that's boring, but like y'all really fuck with each other. You know
Not that's boring. That's
you know?
rude.
So I'm like, I really think it depends on you and your partner. And I think that part of the things that, I mean, I think there's multiple things that come into play. One is the like insecurity, right? So like if either one of y'all are insecure, like some of this shit just not gonna fly, right? But then even the next level of that is like, if you get into a situation with somebody who's just like really, really like, if both of y'all are two people that are like really, really like open and into a lot of different stuff, like I think that y'all gonna figure out what works for y'all. And it's the matter of just like having the communication of like what does or doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that there are, same idea with like a threesome, right? If you're having a threesome with a woman and your dude, right? Like you're going to have, there's a whole range of how you can react to that. There are some people that are like, everything's free, it's all good, like everybody can do whatever. There are some women who are like, there are rules around like what you can and cannot do in this space. And then there are some people who are like she's here for me, she's not here for you. So like your attention is on me and her attention needs to be on me, and this is what this about, you know? Like
not you done your research.
Oh, I've seen it. What? Like there's
You've been in a threesome?
No. Not like
I was like, so this is probably not the space for that, but I was like, what?
One, this would not be the space for that, but no, I have not. It might be on my bucket list, but but yeah, I think that like it's definitely on my bucket list. But I think that it's different. It depends. It depends, like what you need, you know, to feel secure and feel good. Because the other thing too is like so much of sex is about confidence, and you can't be confident if you're feeling unsure, you're feeling any type of way or like whatever. Like you got to feel.
And people don't understand that. People don't understand that like intimacy with your partner has a lot to do with confidence, right? And it's like, and if you're also not boosting up your partner, why would they want to bust it open for you?
That's the thing. So when I talked about before, I was saying that like I was really grateful to have the experience of like being with somebody who was being like having a sexual relationship with somebody who was like very romantic. I was like, that's what I loved most about it. It was like, I just like, they made me feel like I was that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like, I think when you like are super, you know, complimentive and like telling your girl how beautiful she is. And I mean, not in that moment, but like through the experience.
Throughout
like,
the day.
Throughout
Exactly.
the day.
And like using the language.
Yes, using the right language. Like not, oh, you fine as
Mm-hmm.
fuck. Like that's every nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like using the right language, being physically affectionate and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But then also like when you take your time on a woman's body, like it's not
what happens?
Just the floodgates, honey. All the confidence spouts out. And it's not just like, because I think the thing too is like people will be like, oh, I know what buttons to push for them. Like when you've been with somebody or you've been fucking with somebody for a minute, you know like what their things are that are exciting. And so it becomes almost mechanical. Like I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna touch that, I'm gonna lick that, and then she's gonna be ready. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to like, I'm going to really slow down and I'm really gonna take my time and I'm really gonna like cover her whole body. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, just like take my time with it. Like that
but
shit
a lot
makes
of
you feel very
men,
like confident and like, damn, like I'm really about to bust it open for this nigga.
but a lot of men don't understand. I'd be gentle, you know. A lot of men don't understand what it takes to actually, like, they don't even understand what it takes to like arouse your woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's sweetheart.
What you gotta learn too, and you gotta be hella specific about like
every partner is very different also.
Yes.
Like you can't be doing your same tricks on everybody. You cannot.
No, you cannot do your same
The
thing.
link up happens and me and her all end up seeing each other like, oh, he did it on YouTube.
Right?
Like, girl, that's the best he had. Stop.
It is really like learning your partner's body, but also learning you have to learn foreplay specifically for that person. Every single time you enter some shit with a new person, you have to learn foreplay for that person. Like the foreplay is probably the most, well, not probably the most, but it might be, I don't know. Important. It is, no, it's definitely important. I was going to say is the most specific thing that are unique thing to that person. And it might be like how they engage in foreplay, which is not just y'all already laying down and all the shit before fuck, but I mean the whole gradient of getting into that moment and also learning like the variety too. That's the other thing. It's like, even talking about like dealing with somebody who's hella romantic, like I don't need hella romantic all the time. Like sometimes I need you to not be romantic. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes
not, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta have some quick shit sometimes. Sometimes you need to be, you need an alpha energy, you know what I'm saying? Like you need a little variety. But the thing is you have to like learn your partner enough to know that and like know how to move with them. But I don't know. Niggas don't be, most niggas ain't that tapped in to really like figure that out or even sit and like.
And that's what gets you passed on, sweetheart, and on to the next.
It's not asking.
Because you only can give somebody a couple of tries before it's like, okay, well, let's just.
I feel like a desert.
Like this is not working, Charlie. Now we're girl.
Absolutely. And also like that's the thing too, I think specifically with women, like because men can typically get aroused so easily because they're so visual. So like for them, it's like I can see some shit and be like, oh damn, I'm ready. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, if they also have like any type of like emotion or affection towards you, it's like not only did I see you be fine as fuck, but then I also am like emotionally attracted to you. So like I'm ready to go. Whereas women, like you gotta
put in work.
You know,
and it's nothing better than like a tease to me. Like, like y'all may be too ready. Like we're so ready all the time. Like
play the game. Like niggas swear that they love the chase, but they don't chase. They just do. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, they love to chase somebody that they think like is going to be a little more difficult to get. But the reality is like you could love the chase enough to constantly be in a chase with your partner. You know what I'm saying? Like you can consistently have a chase in between, encounters where, you just, chasing, spicing it up, a little tease, a little, you know what I'm saying? And she all like, oh, okay, what? Like,
right.
Nigga, you gonna fuck around and have dinner made for you? Stop playing.
Listen, you know what I'm saying? You trying to play Tom and Jerry? That's my role play.
Which one are you? Is what I'm curious. Are you Tom or are you Jerry?
We talking about how I never watched it.
How would you do that? You would. Y'all like slightly American, but not American ass.
People don't get that. Like people don't understand that there's what people be saying stuff, and I'd be like, like. Y'all don't understand, like I dead ass grew up with no cable and watching the amount of times I watched Lion King on VHS because my dad didn't want to have cable.
Like I didn't have options.
My dad like, Cookie, go put the cassette first play. Like, bruh, I get it, shit. They put the nigga up, they dropped the right. Like, you don't trust niggas. Niggas ain't shit. Your own brother get you set up. Got it.
I love how every Disney every Disney movie translated by Gasita. You should do that. You should have a show that's like, let me give you this Disney movie.
Let me translate
real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Don't let me, or Disney Channel and whole
right. Aladdin is like niggas be lying. You know what I'm saying?
Niggas talk about they flying. Where you going?
Right. Niggas be lying to get a bitch and ain't got the shit to keep them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
If that's not reality to this day, if you broke and can't afford a car, just say it. Why are you on a carpet?
Hella funny. Hella funny. Nigga, why you ain't got no camel?
Flying carpet. Oh, now you're imaginary. Now I gotta assume. Stop.
Yo, Disney movies. Quick Disney movies by Sita Baby.
Listen.
What is it? The Spark Notes on Disney movies. You know what I'm saying?
The way nobody's mama's gonna let them watch my YouTube channel. They're gonna be like, baby, don't watch that. Aladdin is real. So is the Tooth Fairy. No. Your funky ass tooth fell out. You want me to give you $1?
Right.
Stop.
Little Mermaid. You gotta sacrifice hella shit for these niggas.
They mad because you ain't got no fin. Where your fin at?
You know what I'm saying? You gotta go sell your soul and your voice to a witch.
Again, I didn't watch that.
That's heck. Oh my God, you know, Little Mermaid is like my shit. That was my favorite Disney movie growing up.
I didn't watch none of that shit. I just don't understand. Or like somebody asked me the other day, they were like, have you watched see, I can't even talk, I don't even know. But it was like some movie. And it was like a very like Black every movie. Black person has watched it. And I was like, again, I didn't come outside. So I was like, older. Stop.
Which is so funny since you have the blackest Netflix in history.
Right. I be trying to catch up.
But you also do be having a lot of African shit on there too.
I support the whole genre. Diaspora. Okay. Listen, at this point, I was watching a horror movie the other day, and the only thing that I got out of it was there was only one Black person in the whole horror movie. I said, and you wanted me to sit here and watch this whole thing? Like, girl, bye. Why are you so interested in this? Like,
they know they can't put niggas realistically in horror.
Shit, I had just watched Us for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Giving what she needs to give. Okay, little Peter.
Yes, she's so beautiful.
She was good. Gorgeous, except for her. That people need to go watch that because that is just a life lesson on relationships. Because her nigga was bitch made, and her husband. Like,
I told you, movie synopsis by Sita Baby.
I'm being so serious. Like, first of all, there was a moment where he was trying to seduce his wife, right, in the bed, and he like led with his hips, like when he was walking. Don't do that. Not in a twin size bed or a full or whatever. I'm not gonna do this with you. Like that's not attractive. He was just sitting there with his legs all popped up, and he was like, and it's like, no. And then the people tried to come and get them. This is serious to me because it just made me so. This is why I'm not getting married, especially to no punk ass nigga. Like the people were trying to get them. He was doing nothing. He was getting beat up. His daughter had to knock someone off before he did. Like, how do you gonna look at your daddy like a real man after he just got whooped on and you had to kill somebody for him? Like, you can't even be like, I'm gonna call my daddy on you. No, we know what your dad's a sucker. Like,
I'm gonna call my mom.
Girl, and then the mama went off, and girl, it was just a lot. Y'all just need to go watch it.
You have to watch Dating No Filter. You have to go. That's when I say you should do this, like, you should be a comedian on this show. Because it's literally like,
I don't think I'm funny.
No, yes, you are. Two, it's like you're watching, it's like two strangers are having a blind date, and there's comedians that are set up that are watching the blind date and talking about it. And it's like, it'd be hella disastrous. And like, yo, commentary, watching stuff with you, your commentary is the best part. Like,
oh, thank you.
Yo, commentary be so hilarious. We watched stuff, so I'm like, oh my gosh, she would be so good at this. You have to watch at least one episode, and like, you may not want to watch the whole thing because you might be like, okay, Brittany, but I'm like, understand that I do think you would be really good at one. And I also found out that is it Nina Parker? She's the one who usually did when like Love and Hip Hop would have like reunion shows and shit. The host, there was like a Black woman that used to host it. That's Nina Parker. She's on Dating No Filter, or she's one of the comedians on it. I didn't know she grew up in Oakland. She said something where the lady who was with her said something about like, oh, I'd be nervous. And she was like, I grew up in East Oakland. That shit ain't about to be nervous. And I was like, oh, you're from Oakland. Shout out to you. But yeah. Yes. I need you. That should be your new thing. That's our new YouTube. We're gonna put that shit on Patreon. Oh my God. Never mind. We'll talk about that later. She's like, what the fuck is that?
All I do
It's a way to get a coin, is what it is.
Oh.
She's like, now I'm interested. Very
Not even.
Energy.
My Capricorn energy is, I don't want to be in nobody's face. I don't even want to be on here.
Fuck you, bitch.
Listen, it's the fans for me. Oh,
not the fans.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how I was out last weekend, 2 weekends ago now, right? And some man walked up and was like, oh, he's like, you're on the podcast. And no cap, not even trying to be funny to you. I forgot. Okay. And I looked at him and I said,
y'all pray for me. Y'all see what I go through.
And I looked at him and I said, no, I'm not. And he was like, yes, you are. And I was like, all right, bro. And then I was like, oh shit. Cause then I was with one of the homies and she was like, I think he talking about Brittny shit. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, that's my girl podcast. I was like, I just be helping her out sometimes. And everybody who be around me be like, y'all be in it together. Don't do that. Just like you be doing it, your whole little whatever. And then I was like, oh no, that's just my homie stuff. I was like, I just be supporting her. He was like, y'all hella funny. He was like, I feel like you just be stressing her out on camera though.
Basically. On and
off camera. And I was just so offended, okay? And he was like, nah. He's like, I ain't gonna cap. He's like, I be watching it because I be like, damn, she's like a nigga and a female on a podcast. And I was like, appreciate you, bro. Like, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. And
right.
He was like, I do. That's why I know about it. I said,
run these numbers up, nigga.
I don't know what else to tell you. Cause I said, well, this is gonna be my last season. So shout out to you and in his energy, because he was excited. And then he was like, she had this other conversation about education. He's like, I'm an educator. I was like, okay, hey. And then walked out.
Not to the
what?
back.
I started shaking my shoulders. I just walked away.
Hit that and just, I'm out.
He was looking at me like, did you just, yes, because I felt like at first it was cool and now you're trying to shoot your shot. And
I mean, low-key, you did say specifically on one podcast that if somebody was trying to shoot their shot, they should start with something specific that you did or said on the podcast.
Wow.
So they might have actually fucked around to listen to an episode and do some research.
Wow. Well, let me reiterate on this.
That was
YouTube.
season 3, episode 4. Go ahead.
Oh, is that the one where I was given big Capricorn energy?
No, that was episode 1 or 2 or something. I don't know.
Also, I feel like that's
the one we shot in the apartment.
Well, if you don't want my Capricorn energy, don't date me.
Jesus.
And that comes with a lot of back and forth. So y'all don't want me. Y'all don't. Listen, I be trying to tell people what I come with. My computer is going through some things.
Going through some things. But yeah, what else you got for me?
Give me a second. I'm going to turn my camera off only because I gotta make sure my thing is plugged in. And I got Nike biker shorts on, and I'm not trying to get us too popping on here, you know.
I mean, I feel like you're a hater, low key, if you don't show it.
I'm not trying to bust it open for
low key, I feel like you're praying on my downfall if you don't, but whatever.
Listen, y'all can see my cover photo.
Looking beautiful with the fresh braids and stuff.
Y'all see the Africana.
You know what I'm saying? With the gold things in there.
Y'all see her. She's giving big vibes.
My mom just texted me. It was like, I found some Harry Potter stuff in my car. Is this yours? I was
Duh,
like,
who else would it be,
wow.
Wendy?
First of all, duh. Second of all, I feel like such a nerd that at 32, my mom is texting me talking about, I found some Harry Potter stuff in my car. Is this you? Yes, ma'am.
That's giving Brittany vibes.
I mean, I'm not
Why
gonna do
is it not charging? What is wrong today?
Hmm.
But what else you want to talk about? What else you got for me?
I got for you.
Girl, my topic didn't even get touched.
Lord, what do you want to
My
do?
topic?
Can men and women be friends? That one?
Yes. Can they? And
Yes.
platonically, without him trying to shoot his shot?
I can't guarantee that, but I think you can get past that. Like, I think that I think men and women for surely can be platonic friends. I think you know my stance on it. I've said many a times, niggas need to have more platonic friends, and when I say niggas, I mean females and males. Like, because people need to be able to like have conversations and shit. Like, people need to be able to ask some shit. People need to be able to like treat human beings like human beings. Like all the things coming in with that, but I think that like I think as a woman, and especially as a woman who like is pretty, like I think you are going to face a lot of men who will initially meet you off the strength of like, excuse me, trying to shoot their shot. And I think it's very possible that like you can very much establish that like no, this is not going to happen, and then you guys can choose to have a friendship post that. And yes, it may be that at any point, if you are both single and you give them a green light, they probably, would take it, but I also think that I think being able to express boundaries clearly and have people accept your boundaries and respect them is a way to have platonic friendships with people, because it's like you can just be like, no, I'm good. The same way, and like the same way for men. Like there are females who are friends with them, but really on the low, they just waiting for an opportunity to get in them jeans. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Gene Wine. Like, and as long as they
I tried.
I'm about to remember if that was the right person. And as long as they're like, no, like it's not about to be like that, and that female can respect it, then hella funny. Then y'all can be platonic friends. Like I think the bigger difficulty is surrounding people being friends who have been sexually intimate with each other at some point.
You think that's possible?
I think it is possible. I think a lot of people don't do it well. I think the majority of people
do you
don't
think
do it
do you think boundaries always get crossed, or do you think it's one person who just wishes and hopes that there's a possibility of reconciliation?
I think it's that. I think that a lot of times there's one person who really wants like reconciliation to happen, or even like, and even if not that, even if not there isn't one person specifically looking for that, I do think that like once you've already smashed somebody, like you have a natural sexual energy with them, and so like you have to be extra mindful and extra careful of not putting yourself in a situation where it's easy to tap into that energy. Like yeah, like you can have a platonic friendship, but to me I'm like, that means you need to have a certain kind of boundary with them. Like you shouldn't be, like you shouldn't be in alone in the apartment at 10:30 at night drinking wine. Like that's probably a setup for you to fuck up. Like I think you have to be smart about how you move with them and move around them. Otherwise, like no, like it's not gonna happen. But I think it's possible that like if you have correct boundary, both of you have correct boundaries, like then yeah, like it's 100% possible. Like I feel like you have people like in your life that you've dated that are really good friends with you, and it's just kind of like, and I feel like when there's a new person, it's just like you're gonna have to take this shit as what it is. Like, I don't know, like what are your thoughts and experiences with that?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my homies are dudes, but I also understand that like if I gave them a chance, they probably would take it.
But
So
what
that's
about
where
what about people that you've had a relationship with or been intimate with, like that you are now still just like platonic friends with?
Yeah, but also, like you said, it took a while for us
Mhm.
to get to that point, and it was a lot of conversation I had. And then, unfortunately, most of the time, it's me that releases emotionally first.
Mm.
Um, so I think that's where I could say it's like that's why I could say like, oh, it's easy for me to be friends with somebody, like that I was in a relationship with.
Mhm.
Um, because I've let go of that hope or that expectation, well, not expectation, but like that assumption that, we will have something continuously going on.
Mhm.
Um, but but I mean also like, yeah, there's times where it it could be difficult
Mm.
because it's also, I mean, shit, it it's easy. So that's another part of it, you know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, well, you're around, I'm around.
Oh,
We
I
already
see what you're
have,
saying.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
history. So either like, let's start talking again or let's start
Mhm.
whatever again because it's easy. But then it's like you said, that's when it starts getting the water gets muddy because
Mhm.
it's like, oh, because it was easy, because we have history, because whatever. Now we are trying to rekindle or, like try to tap into old situations
Mhm.
when in reality it's like, okay, you should have just left that alone. And but because we're around each other all the time,
Mhm.
it's a kind of like a why not?
Yeah, I get
Um,
that.
but I also think it's a little bit different when the woman is detached emotionally and the
Mm.
man is more attached. Um, like that, I feel like that plays a different role than the woman being more attached and the man being like, oh, like we just fucking, you know? And she's like, but I just hope that,
Yeah. I mean,
one day we work it out, which we all been in that place.
yeah. And I
But when
that
it's a woman, I think it's different because like dudes' egos get involved too, because it's like, oh, like who else you messing with? Or like
Mhm.
if you're doing this with me, like who else you doing it with? Or but you also gotta be able to be honest with people. Be like, yeah.
True. True. That made me think about it's a little bit of a tangent, but it made me think about a conversation I was having um with one of my friends. She was asking me a lot about um my divorce,
Hmm.
just because of a space that she's in. And you know, in that process of doing that, as well. And I was telling her, I was like, what was super difficult in that space was that I had arrived there emotionally and
Mm.
they hadn't. Like,
Hmm.
we both could tell like this wasn't working. And my response to it was, yeah, because it needs to be done. And his
Hmm.
response to it was, I need to make sure I'm trying significantly harder. Like, I need to put in more effort and more energy and more this. And so I think when it came time to actually end it, that's why it was so difficult, was because like my divorce for me wasn't difficult because of like I love this person so much and we're not working out. Like that wasn't what was difficult for me. What was difficult on my end was like, one, I have had a relationship with this person for 6 to 7 years now, and I care about them. And we're friends, and like not now, but like at the at the time, like like I genuinely care about this person, and I have allowed this to go too far because there were many a times and signs and red flags that I completely bypassed and got us to this point. And now I'm going to have to tell you something that is going to be very, very painful for you to accept. And that was something that was really, really difficult. Like I don't know if I've said it on here before, but I know I've told you, like, watching a man break down like that, and also watching somebody that I genuinely care about break down like that, when we finally sat down and I like had the conversation with them. And it was so fucked up. It was coming off of like he had did something super like sweet. He had done a grand gesture, and was kind of like, here's this grand gesture. Like, and I came home and I just like looked around and just like kind of was like, I can't do this anymore.
I
And
never knew that.
yeah, and he was just like, wait, what? And then I was like, we have to like sit down and talk and have a conversation. And I remember talking to him about it, but then also like having a conversation with him later about it. Um, you know, and just having him kind of like break down. And because I knew that like in his mind, like I said, he wasn't, he was like, I know that this has been tough and it hasn't been working, but I'm gonna try harder. And so he hadn't arrived there emotionally. And it's kind of, I laughed at the reason I thought about it like earlier this week, and then it was crazy because then I had a conversation is I listened to the Braves, shout out to Meet the Braves. And the title of the episode was like, how many women are in therapy because of you? And I died because I was like, damn, like my ex-husband for surely went to therapy because of me. Like, fuck. And I was therapy too, though, because my thing was like, in that moment, I realized like the capacity of pain that I can delve out to another person by the choices I've made. And I was like, I never want to be in a situation where I make another person, especially somebody I care about, feel this way or experience this kind of pain. And so I immediately was like, nigga, I need to go to therapy and get my shit together because like that shit is literally like seared into my brain. Like I will never unsee that. And it's so crazy too, because I was having this conversation with one of my girls and I was just like, you know, it was difficult to have to be the one to say that, knowing especially that he hadn't arrived at it. But it was also difficult because I was so clear and aware at that point that like, I'm not your person and you're not mine. And I'm sorry, like we've been on this journey together and it's about to end. And I'm sorry that like it's ending in a way that is so painful. And like, obviously it's going to be painful, you know, but like I'm not your person, and I need you to be able to find that, because we're never going to align. It's a problem. Like I was at a place where I was like, I wanted to have fun, I wanted to turn up, I wanted to be going to the festivals and going on vacations and doing all the shit. I was super focused on my career. Like I was all about that. And he was very like, I want to have a family and like have kids. And like I was just like, and there was a whole bunch of other things obviously that like weren't aligning, but like that was a huge point of contention and like all that shit. And it was so crazy because I was just like, I'm like, you know, I'm not going to be able to give you that. And when we finally separated and divorced and things of that nature, like he went through a really, really tough time. And which is also something like I used to carry with me a lot, was like how he was going to feel, and knowing how he was experiencing life post us breaking up. Like I knew he had dealt with depression. Like I knew he had a really rough time. I knew he ended up getting into a really fucked up relationship immediately after, like all this stuff. And so like there was this guilt and this weight and this shame about like, how is this person going to experience life now that I've made a decision that is going to really affect them? And I will say, like, kind of similar to the conversation I was having with BJ on my cover, the one about conscious partnership. And I was saying, and she was saying, you know, we should not be walking around trying to play God. Like we don't have control over somebody else's future and destiny. And like, yes, y'all got into a situation and a relationship and a marriage that wasn't going to work, but you can't like hold all this guilt and shame about whatever their process is going to be post you guys breaking up. And it was crazy because I was telling her, I was like, the craziest shit is like, I'm still the one out here fucking around, like being bad at this shit. He's married with 2 kids to his beautiful woman. He's hella happy. Like he got the life that he wanted. And I was like, and that always made me so happy. Like that made me really, really happy that I was like, I know you went through this super fucked up time, but like, I'm so glad that at some point, and then maybe that's kind of selfish, but like, I'm so glad at some point, like you got exactly what you wanted, and it didn't have to be this like horrible, terrible thing. And I'll also say that like, I was telling her like, you need to really like make sure and be conscious of how you're moving and what you're doing as far as like during this process of divorce, because your the experience of divorce is going to be traumatic enough. Choosing to separate, that's going to be traumatic enough. Dealing with each other afterwards and dealing with the hurt and the pain and the conversations, that's going to be traumatic enough. Dealing with friends, because now at this point, your friends have intertwined, and having that separation, dealing with telling the world that in some way, shape, or form, dealing with your family, like all that shit is going to be traumatic enough. So do not add more trauma onto the situation by being in your ego the whole time and being hurt and fighting over like money and like material things. Like definitely, like if you went in with a lot of shit, like I'm not saying don't protect your assets, but I am saying like don't make it worse simply because you're hurt. Like I had, as far as like the financial side, I had the most amicable divorce that I think most people could ever have. Like we literally split everything. And I went in being like, you make more money than me, and like calculated it and was like, you make 65% of the income. Because he, you know, first year teacher, I'm not making shit. And I was like, so when it comes to our savings account and when it comes to our account, you can take 65% of the money. Like when it comes to whatever is going on in this home that you want, like let's just, most likely you can just have it or whatever. And he was hella chill and was like, nah, like it's good. Like we can just split it down to half. These are the couple of things I want. Are you cool with that? And I was like, yeah. So like the literal things and like the three-dimensional, the financial, the materialistic things, that was as smooth as fucking possible. And I was telling her, like, I encourage that, like, make that as smooth as fucking possible, because you will deal with so much other traumatic emotional shit that like you don't need to add that on to be a problem. And also like if like he didn't want to have a friendship with me post our divorce. And even to this day, like if we see each other, it's cool, but we're not friends. And we also don't live anywhere near each other. But if you want to at some point have the ability to have a friendship, you have to hold space for someone. Like, and that's one thing I've noticed and have really thought about when it comes to relationships is like, people will be like, well, I'm being honest. And so that means I'm just going to drop my honesty on you. And at no point do I hold space for you as you're like coping with whatever this is that may be really, really difficult. Like, it's literally just like, okay, well, I told you, so like, I should be good. You know what I'm saying? And like me being like, you know, I told you how I felt. So like, you know, like, what am I supposed to do now? And it's like, no, like hold space, have conversation as many times as they need to come back and like talk to you in a realistic and manner. Like, obviously if they're like hounding you, you know, every single day and night, that's not, you know, healthy. But like, if they need to keep coming back and having conversations, if they need to work out some shit, if different things are happening and new band-aids are being ripped off, like have a conversation and like hold space for one another. Like, if you really want to have a friendship past that. But it's a very like convoluted and difficult process. And people also have to like, I was saying, you know, kind of earlier just about acceptance. Like, acceptance is the point in which your pain hits the hardest. Like, you are going to, because if you're getting to a point where something is ending and you're going to have to accept it, that means you've either been fighting for someone or for a relationship, or you've been fighting with someone and within a relationship. Those are the only two options, but you've been fighting. And going with that analogy, like that means you've been taking hits, that means you've been cut, bruised up, and all the other shit. And acceptance is the point where you are aware of all of the hits that you have taken physically, and all of that pain sets in. So like when you're in a fight, you know this, many of my listeners know this because y'all be some fighting ass niggas. You know, like when you're in a fight, you're taking hits and all the shit, but your adrenaline's rushing. So you may feel it, but you don't feel the fullness of it. And once you hit the end of the fight, that is when you have the moment to take inventory of all of the hits and bruises and cuts and all the different things that have happened to you. All that pain hits. And that's the point when that is probably going to be the most painful, and probably why most people don't want to accept things. Why most people don't want to be like, damn, like I just have to accept that this ended this way or whatever, because that is the point where you're going to have to really address and sit in and acknowledge all of that pain. It'll come right then. And so I think in that space, you also have to learn how to take care of yourself. Because if you're at the point now where you're ready to assess and you can feel all of your cuts and bruises and all of the shit that's happened, like that's going to hurt a lot. And you have to figure out how to take care of yourself in that moment. You've now started your healing journey, and you have to be gentle with yourself and know that nothing is linear. Nothing about healing is linear, right? Like you're not going to, if you felt good for 5 days, it doesn't mean that on that 6th day, you're not about to completely fucking break down. It's just, it's a messy round circle of like emotion and working it out. And people often are really hard on themselves and really feel like, okay, well, I have to do this. I have to feel better. I have to get out here again. I have to boss up on these niggas, like all this shit. And I'm like, okay, but also you need to be able to be careful with yourself. The same way, like I said, the fight analogy, if you took a bunch of hits and a bunch of blows and all that other shit, the same way you're going to get up physically to go to the bathroom, you're going to be like hella careful with your body because you're hurting and you have broken bones and all the things. And you're going to slowly sit down on the toilet. I don't know why I use the toilet, but whatever. And you're going to slowly get up. Like you have to, no process in that is a natural process is immediate. There's nothing in nature that is immediate. Everything is a slow process. And so you have to honor those moments where like, it's going to hurt. And it's like some days may not be your day. And that's okay, but like honor your process and honor getting farther and getting farther and farther down that road. And so I was telling her, to finally go full back circle all after my monologue, but is don't be afraid to let go. And I was telling her, like this is probably the 3rd time in my life, second to third-ish, because like one of them was kind of iffy, where I feel like I've had to completely start over. And I was telling her that I've never started over and not got something better. Like it's never happened. The universe has always given me something better. So like, even as I process and all the other shit, there's still 100% faith and understanding that like shit only gets better. There will be a point where you can turn around and look at everything and be like, damn, like I don't regret any of this, or I think it was the right move, or whatever the situation is. Like you will understand it, you will completely grasp it, and then you'll always get better, and there's so much fear of the unknown. Like we fear the unknown very strongly, especially when life like completely alters you and sends you in a direction that you didn't expect to go. It's like you've been mapping out this road for however long, and then to completely take a left and go down a road that you're like, I don't know what the fuck that road looks like. Like I've been building this one, that could be terrifying. That could be scary. It could be really disorienting. You can feel really lost, but I've never known the universe to not always be working in my favor. Like I've never known that to happen. So if any of y'all are experiencing any of that, I hope that was useful for anybody, because I just went on a long ass rant. But yeah, it's one thing I did want to ask because of our previous conversation, just like we were talking about putting all your eggs in one basket. And I remember I was like, I think that when it comes to relationships or really experiencing like real, deep and genuine love with somebody, I don't believe it's you. I don't believe that it's you are giving your heart to anybody. I don't believe you give your heart to somebody. To me, that's unhealthy as fuck. But I do think you open up your heart to people, and you open up all of the different little like chambers, and you give somebody access to it. And I think that not now, but like I understand how people will be like any range of that, like have something not work out and be like, I'm never doing that shit again. Or be like, I'll open 3 chambers, but not the other 4, or have to choose to kind of like completely do that thing again and then trust somebody with it. Because I was really contemplating and like journaling about what I believe trust to be. And it's so much greater than what I had originally thought. And I'm like, it's not just like an exchange of honesty or an exchange of transparency. I think real trust on a bigger level is, I am going to give you access to all the chambers of the most sensitive thing I have. And can I trust that you're going to take care of it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what building trust is, and how certain things can fuck up trust, or like all that other stuff that like, and then people will try to rebuild trust and have and think that they're doing it because they do one aspect of it. And it's like, no, I have to trust that I can give you access and you will not be harmful. And if you've been harmful, like, what do I do? Like, what do I do with that? You know? So that does mean you have to put, if you want to experience that kind of love, that means you'd have to be open to putting all of your eggs, or I guess in the better expression is open up all of your chambers again. You ever doing that?
Am I ever doing what?
You ever willing to open up all your chambers, or put all of your eggs in one basket? New question. Do you feel like you ever did?
Oh. No.
Okay. And so do you ever
I
feel
thought
that
I
you
did,
will?
but I was young, so no. Because I mean, what chambers do you have when you're 18?
You still got chambers,
Right.
bitch? You've been through hella life by 18 too, but you got chambers.
Facts. Do I feel like I ever will? I don't know. I mean, you know, if the universe, God, whatever, you know, shoots the right person down for me, probably. But as of right now, I really don't speak that language. You know, no habla relationship. So
Do you feel like it's possible to experience love without doing that?
yeah, because I feel like you have to protect yourself. And I feel like when you open up too many chambers, right, you make yourself extremely vulnerable. And I guess for some people, vulnerability is how they show love. But to me, I'm not, I think, and I'm not saying vulnerability is a sign of weakness, but it's also like, if I am vulnerable with you and then you don't carry my vulnerability with the amount of care that I would,
Mm-hmm.
now I've made myself weak, not to you, but to myself. And it took me a long time to get back on the stability that I am today. So I don't know if I would trust anybody fully enough to open up all whatever 7 of my chambers,
I don't know why
because people gonna let you down. So I would rather have my guard up and be like, that's why like in the episode we talked about expectations. As soon as you start having expectations, people, you let them down, or they let you down, excuse me. So no, I don't know. I don't think I can. I think it's beautiful when other people do. I love when I see other people so in love, you know, where it's like, I would trust you with my life. And it's like, nah, bro. I'm so sorry. I don't think there's anybody that I would trust them with my whole life.
Okay.
Except for like my father and my brother.
I was gonna say
But besides that, no. Yeah. And even that, I don't know if I would trust him right. He's 19. You know what I mean? Like there are some things where I look at him and brother was driving with his knees on his phone the other day. I said, sir.
I love how crazy Thomas has been driving you lately. It's hilarious. It's hilarious because I don't have to deal with it, but it's also like, you know, I've always wanted
everybody
like,
who's
brother.
like either the youngest sibling, or like the youngest sibling. All my friends who are younger siblings, they're always like, oh, I don't understand because I'm the youngest, you know? Or it's like people who are the older sibling, they're like, oh, I wish I had an older sister. My life would be so much better. No. If you want a younger sibling, you could borrow mine. I would never wish being an older sister.
But yeah,
I
he
love
brings
him.
you. I was gonna say, you know, that nigga brings you hella joy. We love T.
I love him. That's my heart. But also,
his essential oils and his bracelet. I was so proud of him.
You corrupted my child.
I did not corrupt him. I just made him a better person.
Listen,
Less of a nigga.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a nigga.
Put him in tune with his emotions. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I love you, Nation. And I love the pod. I'm not ending it, but I just want to give people a little bit of respect to help them understand that, we all are in transition of life, and I'm currently in the process of trying to write my disc.
Hey,
so
you passed your quals.
I did pass my quals.
Congratulations, queen.
Thank you.
Y'all can Cash App her, you know what I'm saying?
I don't even have Cash App.
Venmo, Zelle, something, I don't know. Shit.
Why they sending me money?
You just passed your quals. That's a win.
Oh, period. People send you money for that?
I mean, people send people money for anything. So sure, why not? At least you did something. People be sending people money for stupid shit. So I don't know. Why not? Why not get a coin?
Listen, she about a bag. But yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go be a scholar.
A scholar. Yay.
I gotta go be a scholar.
Scholar. So this has been another episode. God, I've been fucking that up. Conversation with Nation, a Royal Nation episode. Please remember, everyone, to follow on IG at conversations_with_nation. Make sure to find us on I was about to say Instagram, YouTube, and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. And then also, please remember our 3 businesses that we shouted out: LBR, Loyalty Before Royalty, Styled with Class, which is styledwclass.com, and then Grand Nationxl and the concert they have coming up on the 6th. Thank you.